Hi guys, and welcome to lesson 4 of Music with Paul. I hope you're all still doing really well at home and that lockdown's treating you all well. The weather's been really lovely, so I hope most of you still managed to get outside and staying safe. Yeah, let's crack on. So for today's warm-up, we're going to do another rhythm exercise, a bit like some of the ones that you're doing in lesson 3. So this time, we're going to add in some quarter notes as well. So we're going to have some crotchet beats, which, remember, look like this, and some crotchet rests that look like this. And also, we're going to add some quavers or some eighth notes, which look like this. Okay, so remember the crotchets are just one beat. A crotchet rest is one beat, but you don't do anything. And then a quaver they're quicker. All right, so you get 2 of them for every 1 beat, if that makes sense. Okay, so for example, this rhythm, you would clap as this. Clap, 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 clap. Because you've got crotchet, crotchet, quaver, quaver, crotchet. Or, like we said before, 1, 2, 3 and 4. Okay, hope that helps. So clap along and see if you can clap these rhythms. There's a few of them, so see how you get on. So in today's lesson, we're going to start something new. We're going to start learning where the notes go in sheet music. Okay, so the first thing we need to do is look at this. Now, you might have seen this before in music. Now, this is called a stave. And quite simply, it's just 5 lines all going along horizontally. All right. Now what this is like a little grid that shows us what note to play. And when you put the notes on certain lines or spaces on this grid, it helps us know which note we need to play. Okay. Now, today we're going to be looking at notes in the treble clef. Okay. And a treble clef looks like this. It's funny, isn't it? A bit of a squiggly shape. Starts off in the middle and it curves around and it goes up, loops around again and then comes all the way back down through it again. Now, whenever you see a treble clef, okay, what this means is that the notes are kind of in the higher end of music. So on a piano, for example, it would be up towards the right hand side of the piano and it'd be where you use your right hand to play, and usually it's where like the melody or the tune of the song would be. Okay, now you get a bass clef as well, and that would be what your left hand does on the piano, for example, but we're going to deal with that next time. All right, so today we're looking at the treble clef. All right, now the treble clef looks like this. And on a stave, it looks like this. Now, I'm going to teach you today where the notes go on a treble clef stave. All right. Now, the notes in music are given the names of letters. So we have A, B, C, D, E, F, and G. Okay. We don't go on to H, it goes back to A again. All right. So A, B, C, D, E, F, G. All right. Quite easy to remember. Not too bad. There are other notes as well, but we'll learn about those another time. Okay, we're just going to concentrate on those. And we need to know where they go. So if we start off with where the A would go, let's start with A, okay? And A goes in this second space here, okay? So A. Then the next one up on the line is B. Then the next one up from that is C, and so on. D, E, F, and then G. Up here at the top, okay? Now you have notes below that as well, because in music it just repeats. So you go A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and there's loads of different, they're called octaves, okay? Because every eighth note you go back to it again, all right? But we'll learn about that later on. Okay, so this is where they go. Now I'm going to teach you a really easy way of remembering where they go, okay? First of all, we're going to look at the notes in the spaces on a treble clef stave. Now, we're quite lucky because on a treble clef stave, the notes in the spaces spell out a word, okay? And that word is face, because you have an F, an A, a C, and an E, like this. Okay? So if you ever need to know what a note is on the treble clef stave, if it's in one of the spaces, you can work it out. From the bottom up, you can go F, A, C, E. So for example, if it was in the second space, you could go F, A, so it's A. Brilliant, okay? We are now going to look at the notes on the lines. There's a little saying that you can remember that will help you get this right. So the notes on the lines on a treble clef stave are E, G, B, D, and F, okay? Now the best way to remember this then is to say the phrase, every green bus drives fast. And if you can remember that, every green bus drives fast, you can work out the lines. So E, G, B, D, F. Okay? Now hopefully if you've got one of the worksheets that goes with these videos, there's a couple of little tests for you now to do. If you look at the staves that I've put there, you've got one where you've got the letters underneath, and I want you to fill out the notes above it that looks like this. So where you see the letter, the first one being a C, I want you to put the C in the right place on that stave, okay? And then the A and so on. And then you've got another one like this, which has some of the notes sort of already drawn in, but we don't know what letters they are, and you need to label the letters correctly and see if you can get those right. Okay? If you get stuck, look back through the video and you should find the answers there. All right? See how you get on. So for our instrument this week, we have to go all the way across to Japan. We're going to look at the shamisen, which is a bit like a banjo or a type of guitar, I suppose. So yeah, it's a Japanese kind of banjo guitar thing. It's got 3 strings made out of silk. And usually the body's made out of wood with kind of like an animal skin stretched across it. And you pluck the strings with a kind of a plectrum called a bachi, which is a bit like a wooden sort of shaped plectrum that you pluck the strings with. In a similar way to a guitar or a banjo or even the sitar that we looked at a couple of weeks ago, you've got tuning pegs at the top that tune the strings, and then you push your finger down the strings to change the notes, and then you pluck them with the bachi to make the different sounds. It's a traditional instrument from Japan, and you can hear it quite often when you go there. Now, I've got quite a cool personal story about a shamisen. My wife and I went to Japan for our honeymoon after our wedding, and as part of our honeymoon, we stayed in this little tiny village called Sumago. And the person we were staying with said that up the road on that particular night, there was a sort of local family band, I guess, having their band practice, and he said that if we wanted to, we could go along and watch. And we went along, and there's a lot of drumming, and there was a shamisen player in it, so we got to watch the shamisen player playing, and I even got to join in with the band. So I got to join their band for the evening and play drums with them, which was very, very cool. And we, as you can see from the photos, we wore like our kimonos or yukatas while we were there. So it was very traditional, very Japanese, and it was a lot of fun. But anyway, as usual, I'm going to play you some music with the shamisen in it. I want you to have a listen and answer the questions if you can. And yeah, see if you enjoy the sound of it and see what you think. So for your music challenge this week, I want you to find 5 bands or artists that begin with the letter B. Okay, I hope you had some fun finding some artists being with A last time, but yeah, B this week. So use Google, have a look on the internet, and see if you can find some bands or artists beginning with B. So obviously you could have the Beatles, for example.